thanks everybody for joining us. Appreciate everybody coming in. We wrapped the season of Issa and Wilfried non-seat. Go ahead and open up to questions. Brianna.
Hi. I first want to start, obviously, well, the playoffs ended faster than you guys intended. It was a long season. Just looking back, well, a couple days removed, what did you learn about playing a 50-plus game season and the difficulties that come with that many games?
It was amazing because I hope that for many years we're going to be able to play many games, because it means that we are doing a good job, and I think that last year the season has been amazing. Obviously, not because we won, not only because of that, but because of the standard that we put, and this year was also amazing, better, because we, in terms of availability, in terms of players, we were really good with that. In terms of consistency, we've been also really good, and so this is difficult, really difficult to sustain like this, and we found ways to do it. Not only my staff or the club, the players. And for me, this is exactly what I'm looking for in terms of this desire all the time to seek for improvement, like I told you. So yeah, I'm really pleased for that. And obviously, it's been difficult mentally. I think that obviously the fact that we lost the first round of the playoff. We are all human beings, and we want to go as high as possible, but it was difficult to accept. But like I told you, we have to respect that. But it cannot be fair to assess, I'm talking about myself, to assess the team regarding the playoff. Maybe because I come from Europe, and you know me, with the consistency of the league is really important. And last year we finished third for the Supporter Shield, and this year we finished second. So this is huge. This is huge. So that's why, yes, obviously disappointment. This is still here. You know, the fact that we didn't go through, but really pleased about what we achieved. Really, really pleased. And again, the idea is to repeat in a better way. And but the most important for me is we've learned a lot of things in terms of desire to get better every day, desire to challenge my players a little bit more, desire to adjust also myself, desire to give them more rest at certain moments instead of pushing them, because we all the time want to push them. So it's been a really, really good season in terms of what we did, obviously in terms of records and so on, but also in terms of what we've learned collectively and individually.
No, nothing to add. And to Wilfried's point is, in few days, few weeks, when this disappointment will go away, that we will have time to reflect on the season that's been. Your question was about 50 games. It was, yes, draining, tiring, but we enjoyed every single one of them, and we learned from them, from the wins and losses, and hopefully we get accustomed to it, and hopefully it becomes our new normal. Because if it does, that means we're doing well. So 50 games was the first, and hopefully every year it's the same.
And now, obviously, you have to transition right from the postseason to roster decisions and what you guys are doing this offseason. So what are these day-to-day kind of right after the postseason look like right now?
Yeah, so look, our game was 3 days ago, so it's still fresh. I wish we had this conversation even later so that we have time to digest. But that being said, we have to be ready for next season and the years to come. And it's not, those discussions didn't start 2 days ago or yesterday or today. They've started a month ago, weeks ago. We constantly talk between myself and other staff members about our players, how they're doing now, what's the plan for the future. So it's not because we lost that all of a sudden we are panicking and making decisions based on that loss. Those decisions were made weeks ago.
And you have till November 27th to make those decisions. Do you have a timeline on how you guys are going to just approach having that much time?
Yeah, so first we have to talk to players individually. That's the process we're going through now. And then in terms of timeline, we don't put pressure on ourselves on the dates. As I told you, those decisions were discussed and made weeks ago. So it's not like we are waiting until the very last minute to make a decision on certain players.
And just, I know it's a little fresh, but what are you guys looking for going into this offseason in terms of specific profiles or just things you want to improve on?
I can let Wilfried speak, but at the end of the day, we are not looking to make addition just for the sake of making additions. I've told you that many times. If we are adding players, it's for us to be better, always. Again, we're talking about a group that just broke club records. We're talking about a group that finished one of the best in offensively, one of the best defense as well. It's something we tend not to mention. So at the end of the day, the group of players we have is strong. You would think you just copy and paste and do it again next year. But we look to improve our team, as always. But as I mentioned, we are not going to add players just for the sake of adding players, but only because they make us better.
No, listen, to be honest with you, nothing changed. Why? Because the preseason was for next year was already done in September, August. So it doesn't change. So we have to plan. That's why we never stop. All the time we have to think ahead because everything is planned. We know where we're gonna go. We know when we're gonna start, but we didn't know, and we don't know who we're gonna play. So it was only the same thing. After that, in terms of players, doesn't change. The same question and you have the right to ask the question. Don't get me wrong, but freshness. So yes, last year we won, but we added players. This year we didn't win MLS Cup, but we won many things. Freshness. So it doesn't change. After that, if this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, I don't know. But it's all about this is clear what we want to do. And I'm not saying it's easy, don't get me wrong. Because again, I discussed with few players and like I told you, I love my job. And it's not a job, this is a passion, but it's not easy to tell a player that, you know what, for next year it could be difficult, or it's going to be difficult, or you are not coming back. But at the same time, I have no problem to say it because I've been honest with them, and we've been honest with them. And after that, they accept, they don't accept, it's totally normal. But no, this is our job. This is our job, and we have to move forward.
Just curious if there are any variances in the project that you both are invested in as it relates to the roster, be it size, investment, or anything else I'm not thinking about, that you have to address. If it's a 50-plus game schedule next year, you're flying to Mexico, you're hosting 5 Leagues Cup games, and you're hoping to get out of the second round of the playoffs.
I don't think there's much change, Chris. It's you have to look at what we've done, but also look at every clubs around the world. So even if you look at a top European club that play more than us, that play over 60 games, they still use a certain number of players. It's not because you play more games that necessarily you'll start using 30, 35 players. So when you look at our season, despite playing 50 games, at the end of the day, you look at what we call the useful squad, the players that play the most minutes, is still limited to about 15, 16, where we have to do a good job. And kudos to our staff, who did a tremendous job over the past 2 seasons, is availability. Can you keep the player fit to play? And if they are able to play every single game. Speaking to a couple of players who've played most minutes, they tell you, I feel good physically. Although it's draining, I do feel good. I feel like I can still play another 90 minutes tomorrow. So it won't change from what we've done previously. And same thing on the span. it doesn't change the way we've always operated, where we don't want to be one of the top spender in MLS, but we want to be between 8 and 12. We also don't. We have owners that want to invest and want to win ultimately, so we will continue that path.
Sorry, Woody?
Issa, this is going to be your first time here running this kind of off-season on your own. Now, you've been here, so this is not new, and you've done this before. But what is that going to be like for you, this off-season, being, the head or, I guess, kind of in charge of all of the moves and things? And is there something that you want to bring in personally that might be a little bit different?
No, I just look. I don't want to change anything that we've done in the past that has worked. Obviously, I learned things that didn't work and trying to change them. But ultimately, I'd like to continue the way we've worked, especially with Wilfried. Just thinking 2 years ago, I think it was when he and I went on a trip, and we spent 5 hours talking about players on the roster, and we've done that throughout the year. So it's not like this off-season is coming out of nowhere and we're all of a sudden panicking and not knowing what we do, because we constantly talk. And then to answer your question, yeah, I've been here. So even now running meetings with players, it's not my first time. I've been in those meetings in the past, so I don't plan on doing anything drastically different. Just wanted to continue the relationship and believing in what we do.
You mentioned it's been just 3 days since your last match. I'm going to ask this question anyway, because I know it's what fans are curious about, and this is for you as well, Wilfried. How important is it to keep Kucho Hernandez?
No, as you know, Kucho is a good player. He's a great player who's done tremendous for our team. But there's interest in Kucho, like there's interest in other players that are as worthy on our roster. And we should be flattered to have such interest for our players, for our staff members. That means we're doing something well. Now, there was a Columbus crew before myself, before Kucho, before Wilfried, that was successful. We are currently successful with us here, and the crew will be successful after we leave. So no one is above the club, and whether a player is here or not, we hope that the club will continue to be successful.
Wilfried, your perspective on how important it is to keep Kucho?
No, he said everything. The only thing that I'm gonna add, sorry, is regarding your first question. You just lied a bit, because you have to take a picture now, and take a picture next year. He's gonna get gray hair. Just that.
How much have you accumulated this year?
Oh, but me, I like my gray. It's okay. So no problem with that. No, he said everything. You know me. The club has a clear vision, and you know our job. For the moment, Issa is happy with me, and I hope that it's going to be the same. But if I lose games, maybe it's going to be difficult. And for the players also, so when they are good, it's normal that they are the interest, and this is our life, So again, after that, we had already a situation like this in the past, and it's going to happen, and this is our job to assess and to see what is the best for the club. So he said everything, so we'll see.
Wilfried, what's run through your mind over the last 3 days?
It could be long.
What thoughts?
It could be really long. No, listen.
What ones keep coming back?
No, listen. It's been tough. I'm going to share something with you. After the game, I started to talk, in the locker room to the players. But when I was talking, I said, Wilfried, what are you going to say? So we're going to say that, yes, we are disappointing because we deserve to go as far as possible and so on. But at the same time, my little voice was saying that, hey, remember how we started this year? And remember what did you do? So, listen, this is the same spirit in terms of frustrating, disappointed, obviously, because we are all competitors, and I really believe that we were able to do certain things. But at the same time, it's football. It's football. I think that the games the 2 games that we had, yes, we lost the game, so that's why they deserve to go forward. But at the same time, I think that we are missing, not the physical part, but the last part, just to close the game or to finish the game. So with my staff, we discussed a bit with that. Physically, we know that we were good, but I think that also the mental aspect was difficult, But knowing that they were able, my players, to come back 2-2, So that's why a bit of a weird feeling, because if we lose a game and the team plays dominate us a lot, no problem. But it was not the case, and we could have scored a lot of goals, both games, but we didn't do it. But what I've learned is we have to respect the defeat, like I told you, and yes, difficult. I'm going to be honest with you, because I've been like this. Difficult to sleep, difficult to watch playoff games, because I said no, we should have been there, but I don't like the should I. So listen, with time it's gonna be like this. But the other part is when I did the post cycle with my staff. Quickly, I saw what we achieved and what we did during the season, so it balanced. But for sure, I'm gonna have to prepare myself if I can watch the next game or not. But for the moment, it's tough.
Is there any part of you that thinks that the 50 games, that the pursuit of other trophies made it more difficult to pursue another MLS Cup?
No doubt. We
Do
play.
you think you sacrificed?
No, we don't.
MLS
No.
For the pursuit of other trophies?
No, not at all. I don't. This is a. Don't get me wrong. I understand your question, but it's so difficult to convince my players and also to transmit a message, to choose what competition we're going to play. No, we play every competition. And I'm going to be honest with you, this is not, but this is a fact. We played 12 more games than New York, Red Bull. So at the end of the day, we were still able to compete with them, and we were close. But at the same time, I think that this is exactly the new normal that we want to achieve all the time, but it's going to be difficult. And like I told you, I want next year to do the same or similar. I don't know if we're going to be able to do it, but the idea is to do it. And after that, we'll see. But 50 games, this is a lot, but this is the way it is. And to be honest, when we were so close, because I think we lost only 6 games during all the season. 8 with the two MLS. So 8 in 50 games. Wow, this is huge. This is huge. So that's why I am in between. I am in between in terms of try to assess. But we did well. But it was possible to do better. But no, we were close to hunt a little bit better, Miami. But I think that I want to praise my player, because when you are behind and you try to catch up someone in front of you, and you know that you are more adversity and you are able to compete, and you are close to touch it, and finally you don't touch it, you can fail. But they didn't do it, because we were close to catch Miami. I was afraid. I said, guys, I said to my staff, it could be difficult. No. We went again. So listen, I love 60 games. Now we'll see how we're going to be able to achieve it again, but it's difficult.
And as a follow-up to that, Issa, what have you learned this year about this parcel of 50 that will impact how you go forward now in the offseason?
I learned a lot. I think I told you before, Mike, that I'm amazed of what players and staff because we tend to forget them as well. But coaching staff and supporting soccer staff, what they've achieved during the season, because there was a stretch of games, for example, in September where we had 7 games in 21 days, where you play every 3 days and you travel and you land and you barely train, you have a next game, and to have this physical and mental toughness and resilience, I was so impressed. The one thing also about this season, I remember, and I don't know, we didn't even talk about this, but when we first started to play the CONCACAF Champions Cup, we were getting some advice from people saying, "Oh, you shouldn't go that hard on that competition." And we were curious because we were like, why? And maybe it's because where we were from and you know, it's normal to play all those competitions. And they were saying, if you do, then you're sacrificing the league. If you do, you won't be able to sustain MLS games and you'll have injuries and so on and so forth. And we were baffled, and for us, there was no way we were going to go for it. And we did, went all the way to the final, and yet, and I remember we said, if there are injuries, there are injuries. It's meant to happen, and there will be injuries. And again, kudos to our staff. We didn't have that many injuries, and we were able to compete in all those competitions. And if next year there's another 50 games, 60 games, and I'm looking at that trophy in that trophy case behind you guys, we can add another one, then let's do it again.
Speaking of the Champions Cup, what do you know about the food poisoning? Is this something that still bothers you? The league said it didn't investigate. I don't know if CONCACAF investigated, but it seems fairly clear that that was a overt action by somebody in Patuka. Can you just talk about what happened there, what you know more about it now, and if you've learned to pack your own food?
No, I've told you last time that when you think about Patuka, you cannot help but to think the faces of the players the day of the game and after the game, and staff members that were struggling to stand on their feet. So that's what I'm thinking about. And obviously, you'd love to think, oh, had our players been fit, it would have been another story. We don't know. What happened. It'd be, I don't know how to say in English, but maybe pitiful to just trying to think of what if. It happened. It was our story, and we learned a lot from it. And I think even the success that we had afterwards came from that lesson. Now moving forward, will we do things differently? Probably. Will we get prepared differently? Maybe. But at the end of the day, our players, our staff did everything they could to be as prepared as possible. Now, what happened? We can, trying to guess, but there's no proof of anything that I know, that we know, that actually happened. I don't think there was any investigation, but again, it happened. It was in 2024. Let's see if we can make a push, whether it's next year, or in 3 years, in 5 years, and try to win that trophy one day.
I'm going to add something. Me, I just want them to change the format. Simple as that. I've been
Well, they change it every year.
Yeah, good point. But to have more coherence, because again, we cannot start a season, a competition, and we don't know where the final is going to be played, or how they're going to play, how the final is going to be played. So this is not possible. And after that, we'll see. Because again, I've been a player, and I know that some stuff like this could happen or not. I don't know. I'm not here. Like I said, I could have told you before the game, hey, guys, we're all sick. So we'll see. But maybe I didn't have the strength also because I was sick also. So, but again, you brought this point. That's why the season has been amazing, because, when you lose a final, when you lose a game, yes, but when you lose a final and you know that before this final, people change their narrative regarding us, regarding Columbus. Because of what we did, we were able also to put MLS, and we are really happy with that on the map and so on. So we are really proud of that. But at the same time, I'm really proud of, I remember the game against New York City was the turning point. Can I say that, turning point? Because we came back, we were disappointed, and we said, guys, we have to go back to the league. And we have to achieve something. And my players have been outstanding with that. And obviously my staff, all the people that I work with. And you know, for me, it's been also a big moment during the season.
You're referring to the League's Cup game, is that what you're referring to?
And now the New York City, just after when we came back from, when we lost the final, the first game. It was this moment. Because we were emotionally all over the place. And we were playing in New York City. You know that this is a difficult team. And we had a really, really good game over there.
Dave, anything from you?
I'm good.
Just one last thing, I was, you spoke about formatting, I asked Christian about this after the game, and he said on dress told him, he felt like if you guys had like 15 more minutes to play, you guys could have done something, and obviously, the first round is the only different round than the rest of the MLS Cup, where you guys get 2 extra overtime, and it's only one game. How frustrating is that? You guys saw last season the success you could have overtime, that it's, again, another different format, and they're changing round to round.
Listen, at least we knew the rule before we start. You know, so me, you know me a bit, it's been now 2 years, for you maybe 1 year, but yeah, we cannot start a competition without knowing the rules. Simple as that. So now, last year was last year, this year is this year. I told you I don't like this format. I told you already. I respect it because this is MLS, this is the way they do it. But yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it. So I think that we can have another format. But again, I respect that. When they ask me, I will tell them, and I did it already. But listen, this is the way it is. And to be honest with you, we have to respect the situation. And we were not able to win 2 games, or at least 1 game. So this is the way it is. This is football. And that's why, like I told you last year, and I repeat myself today, MLS Cup, for me, it's like Champions League in Europe. And season, it's a season. 34 games, this is not the same. So, yes, don't get me wrong, we were champions last year, and we are still champions because it's going to stay for life. But my point is, the 34 games that we had versus the MLS Cup, don't get me wrong, because I know that Issa, he wants to win everything, and also the owner. But my point is, hey, this is huge, what we did. This is huge. I hope that next year we're going to be able to do the same, maybe more, but it's going to be tough. So, because this is the competition. And yeah, so I cannot change the format, so we'll see.
Great. All right. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate the time. Wilfried, Issa,
Congratulations
thank you
on the
very much.
season.